It's time for the Great Cowboys Fan Survey results. You guys took this survey on Thursday or Friday. Now, courtesy of Jon Machota at The Athletic, we have the results. Let's see if
I saw Jon Machota at the Dallas Card Show.
Did you?
Yeah.
I did not see him there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Did he know who you were?
Yeah.
Nice.
Did he say he wanted to trade Micah Parsons?
I didn't talk about that.
Okay. All right. Was keeping Mike McCarthy the right decision? Do you remember your answer? Your options were yes, no, or undecided.
Ooh. Yes.
Yeah, sure.
10% said undecided. Look, if you're undecided on the very first question, I think maybe this survey is not for you. 25% said yes. 65% said no.
All right.
So, in y'all's face.
So that 65% said no. They're mad, right?
Correct.
They
Or me.
I wonder what they were thinking when McCarthy was hired, initially anyway. And did anything ever change their mind? I would say probably about 35% of that 65%. 65% of that 65%.
Oh my God.
Probably didn't like him in the first place and
Okay.
never wanted him here.
All right. And is that like 40%?
Yeah.
I don't.
And so they but they're also mad now and they just want some change. Any change. It doesn't matter what the change is.
I think you're right about that.
That's not necessary.
But there were probably the best options at coaching that you've ever had out there.
Who would you have wanted as the replacement?
It was kind of, I think I voted Harbaugh.
Okay. Harbaugh leads the way with 20.
I voted to keep Mike McCarthy.
That's true. So we don't need to go to you right there. 26% said Harbaugh. 21% said Vrabel. 21% said Belichick.
Huh.
And then a whole bunch of other votes got like 4 to 5%.
Chip Kelly?
Not Chip Kelly. Ben Johnson got 4.5%. I voted for him.
Was Bobby Slowick on that list?
Yes, he got 5.3%.
I think that's the guy I like a lot. I just don't know if he has head coaching in him. I know he has the ability to draw up a really good offensive game plan, but Harbaugh probably would have been my option.
I think these next two questions will show you where the disconnect is. How many games will the Cowboys win next year? Less than 8, 8 to 9, 10 to 12, 13 or more?
I'll still say what I said when I did this thing now that I remember I did this. 10 to 12.
Let me stop it right there. 77.5% said 10 to 12.
Right.
So the vast majority of people are like, this is still going to be a good team next year.
They are going to be a good team next year. Just there's one thing that everybody holds against them all through the regular season, because I said 10 to 12 also.
Well, then let's go to that. How far will the Cowboys go in the playoffs next year?
Bounced in the wild card.
Really?
I don't know.
No, you're right. 100%. Like, it's over. They get to play a playoff game unless they get to play an 8-9 team, but you can't even be the 1 seed and play an 8-9 team. Most likely they're going to lose in the first round. So
Sure.
Your chance of playing an 8-9 team is being a 2 seed or I guess the 5 seed playing the worst division winner. So that's the one chance the Cowboys have at winning a playoff game.
And that's where the disconnect ends up being, because 77.5% say they're going to win 10 to 12 games, but 41% said lose in the wild card, 34% said lose in the divisional round, and 10% said they won't make the playoffs at all. So of that 77% that said 10 to 12 wins, it appears as though the vast majority of them are like, oh yeah, they'll be good, and then they'll lose in the wild card or divisional round again, which it's really hard to argue at this point in time.
I mean, I'm looking at their schedule next year, and it's obviously not in order yet, but Dak, if you have 11 easy games on your schedule, it's like, that's a win. He'll win 10 of 11 of those games. That's what he does. That's how he makes – he's going to make close to $500 million or more playing quarterback by doing that. And congratulations to him and his family and his future family. Like, what he's doing is not easy to do. A lot of quarterbacks don't take advantage of the bad games, and he takes advantage of those bad games. Unfortunately, that's where I think the connection is there for Cowboy fans, is they know he takes advantage of the Carolina Panthers and the Washingtons and the New Yorks, and then you have to play a good team in the playoffs. He doesn't beat those teams in the regular season, and then he gets even worse in the playoffs.
Now, this might be the most astonishing answer to me. Where does your current Cowboys fandom rank? A, I'm done with the team. B, will take a while to start caring again. C, I'm a diehard no matter what happens. Or D, I've never believed more in the team's direction.
Yes.
I voted for I'm dying to see what happens next.
Yes, not on the board. 1% voted for I have never believed more in the team's direction.
That's
A whole
Mike-
percent?
That was
What?
Mike McCarthy and his wife.
Is it not like greater than or equal to 1%?
No,
or
it-
less than or equal to?
No, it's
It's
one.
one
It is
full percent.
actually 1 full
Right
percent.
now, Micah Parsons and CD Lamb wouldn't even vote for that one.
Now, 9% said I'm done with the team, while 45%, it was exactly even. 45.1% for both. I'm a diehard no matter what happens. Will take a while to start caring again. Look, I realize this is a survey and like you don't have to be held to these results, but I would imagine that should be pretty alarming for the Jones family to see 55% of the respondents said, or 54% said, it will take us a while to start caring again, or I'm done with the team.
But that's the preliminary poll, Kevin. As we all know, the real polls that matter are the voting polls. And
Right.
so when it comes down to it, if that 55% exists, but the 100% or 95% of the sales continue to stay where they are, and I mean sales and everything,
Yeah, then they're okay.
then they're like, that's the preliminary poll.
What grade would you give Mike McCarthy for his 4 seasons as the Cowboys coach?
Hey, I think this is as good as you can do in this situation.
I think I said something along the lines like B+.
46% said B, 41% said C, and obviously that was the chunk of it right there. You got 2% A, 7% D, and 3% F. The F vote, that feels pretty tough. But then again, I wouldn't give him an A either. So
You're in the B range?
the vast majority B and C.
Are you a C?
I'm a C plus.
But there wasn't
Wasn't
that
an
option, so
yes, C.
C.
What grade would you give Jerry Jones for his last 4 seasons as GMing?
Can I ask you this question
Yeah.
off of your grade? Do you truly believe that Dak Prescott can win if he has better coaching?
No.
No.
Not now. Because I do think that McCarthy is a quality coach and knows how to. He's won a championship.
And I don't think he's the best. I think you can do better. But I'm to the point, and I was just wondering, I think most Cowboy fans are with you, Kevin and Corey, is like, what coach is going to get more out of Dak Prescott at this point?
That's hard to say. It really, really is. Jerry, the GM grade?
I gave him an F on that day.
Oh, that feels harsh.
That's more of a career than it is for just this last year or the last, let's say, 3 years. I'll give him
down just a little bit.
Well,
I'll give
Okay,
him
Jerry.
I'll give him a D.
I will. Man,
Was D part of it?
Yes.
Okay.
That is part of the regular grading scale.
it would have been a B for me at the beginning of the season, but it's a C for me right now because
Okay.
they did nothing to address the most important parts of their team whenever you had injuries. They just said, let's put safeties there instead. So they did the Brandon Cooks move, and I know
Stephon Gilmore,
yeah, those 2 moves were amazing. Those are great. It would have been better if Cooks like maybe produced more. I don't know, but the threat existed, and you went and made that addition to your team. But then whenever you needed better linebackers, you were like, man, we got fast guys.
It was weird because they came on our air and been like, no, we already made those moves. And I'm like, right, but you can make more moves. It is allowed.
Yeah, no. That's where it stops. Once our off season's over.
Only 4% gave Jerry an A, 26% a B.
He has a big family.
That's true. 29% a C, 20% a D, and 21% gave him an F. Are you fine with giving Dak Prescott a new contract that makes him one of the highest paid players in the game? I believe we all said no.
Yeah, I'm going to say no because to be in my opinion, if you're going to be the highest paid player, you have done the things and are going to be doing the things that prove it. You already got a big contract and you did nothing.
26% said yes, 57% said no, and 17% said, I don't know.
I just wonder this. It goes to Tua T over on the other side. Tua T, it's a little bit different because he's been hurt his first 4 years, but they have this decision to make. And they've sounded like they're going to, look, we know enough that we know Tua's good. We know that he's not good enough, but we believe he can improve to get good enough to compete against all of these AFC quarterbacks. So they're going to give him a huge 4-year contract. And I would say if you're a Miami Dolphins fan, which I have no clue who's listening who's a Miami Dolphins fan, but let's just say you are. And in the next 4 years, he gets hurt 1 year. He goes 12-5 for 3 out of the 4 years. And he goes 1-3 in the playoff games. And the only team he beats is an 8-9 team that shouldn't be in the playoffs. I don't think Miami would say, man, if he accomplishes all of those things, he makes the playoffs 3 out of 4 years, wins 1 playoff game, and you get to the divisional round 1 time, that you'd say, yeah, do it again, but this time make him the highest paid quarterback.
And if you're looking for if you're looking for change from the personnel, that's not what folks are looking for. 70% said they would like to give Micah a contract, making him the highest paid defensive player in the game. Only 18% said no, with the rest undecided. CeeDee Lamb, new contract that makes him the highest paid wide receiver. 73% said yes, 18 no, and only 9% undecided. Which one gives you the most confidence going forward? Jerry,
Rangers,
McCarthy, Dak, or none of the above? Which could be the Rangers.
Yeah, I would vote none of the above. We've seen Jerry do this for 3 decades. It ain't happening. We've seen now Dak do it for almost a decade. It ain't happening. And McCarthy's good, not great. He's not good enough to uplift this team.
Well,
so I vote Chris Young.
Jerry's the consistency.
Well, he only got 3%.
He'll
Mike
be
McCarthy, 8%. Dak Prescott, 21%. None of the above, 67.5%. Last question on here.
How much do you think that will change by July? As in the hope as a Cowboy, right?
I think it'll get better.
And I do too. I think when you answer that question and you say none of the above, what's the point in watching next year?
Yeah.
But I think that will change for the 67% who voted that. I would say most of those people, that will change when the season is getting near.
How many years before the Cowboys win a Super Bowl? Next season, 2 to 3 years, 4 to 5, 6 to 10, or more than 10 years?
We all answered more than 10.
4% said next season, 19%.
So that's the Jones family, right? Because 4%
true.
voted on the Jones being good.
You know what? You might be right about that.
So his grandchildren and everybody got on this poll, and that we know that's 4% of the fan base.
4% said next season, 19% said the next 2 to 3 years, 19.5% said the next 4 to 5 years. So that's a pretty decent amount of folks right there. But then
I'm dying to know what'll happen next.
26.5%. I did not log your vote for that. 26.5% said it will be 6 to 10 years, but the number one vote getter, 31%. So nearly a third of the fan base for the Cowboys said it'll be more than 10 years.
I don't believe in Dak. Obviously, I don't believe in other things in the Cowboys organization, but he's going to be the Cowboys quarterback for probably the next 6 to 8 years. So if you don't believe in Dak, then I don't know how you could vote anything but 6 to 10 years or 10 plus years.